Did you ever learn to drive a stick shift? Life transitions are a lot like driving a car with a manual transmission. You need to shift gears from time to get where you're going. I shifted gears several times over the years. I was a pastor and became a missionary and then served as an educator overseas and in the United States and then became a pastor again and even started a nonprofit along the way. I'll never forget landing at the airport in Lagos, Nigeria for the first time in 1997 with 4 kids in tow. The map I bought didn't match the terrain. The humidity was thick and the noise was overwhelming. That's exactly what retirement's like for so many of us, standing in a strange new land where the old rules and schedules no longer apply. While your gears are undoubtedly different from mine, the shifts are just as real. One thing we share, though, is that the shift into retirement is the most significant and often most difficult shift of all. For years, you've been governed by a schedule most likely set by someone else. Even if you were your own boss and set your own work hours, you had to adhere to the schedules that your clients followed. Then one day, all that changes and you step out of the workforce and suddenly your routine, your schedule, and even your life as you knew it evaporates. I'm Bill Hennessy, the Retirement Igniter. I help Christians enter their retirement discover meaning and purpose that sparks their imagination and helps them discover God's design for this fourth season. Why? Because most seniors spent years building their 401ks and hardly a moment on how to use it in a meaningful way. In other words, they plan for the money, but not for the Monday after they leave the workforce. Then there's the friendship void that kicks in once you retire. Most people forge friendships around their work identity, and shifting gears to retirement often means isolation. A dear friend of mine sent me an article that captured it so well. The author, Farley Ledgerwood, wrote that after 4 months of retirement, he suddenly felt immobilized by a simple question: now what? He discovered that the feelings of loss that swept over him stemmed from losing the structure that a schedule once provided him. What's more, he discovered that what he felt wasn't odd. It was a normal reaction to retiring. In time, he discovered his why, and that provided him with a map forward. Ledgerwood found his why, and you can too. The disorientation that comes from a sudden loss of structure, like having a work schedule, doesn't have to be devastating. What about you? Have you felt that sense of loss that losing a schedule can bring? Were you able to process that and create a new order that kept you moving forward? Countless retirees haven't done that. They haven't done so well at identifying what kept them feeling strangely disoriented instead of relieved by the long-awaited retirement. It doesn't have to happen after retirement. It can happen as you look ahead for the big day. For me, I watched people older than me. Some did well, others didn't. I wasn't sure which camp I'd be joining, so I started asking God for wisdom. And in time, I found his answers for my life and created the Retirement Ignition Method. It's a 7-step strategy to overcome the unspoken hurdles that come with retirement. I want to offer you 3 tools that can transform you from someone once driven by a schedule to someone who adopts a whole new way of life, one governed not by a clock, but by a compass. When you do, I believe that you'll feel so confident in your why that the structure your schedule once provided won't be what moves you forward any longer. You'll be motivated by who God calls you to be and all that he calls you to do. So here's your first step in letting go of the scheduled life that once ruled you. Pause. It's nearly impossible to overcome a problem you don't acknowledge. By pausing, you allow yourself the time to be honest about your feelings and adapt to your new circumstances. That will lead you to step 2, uncover. Now that you've realized that things have changed and that the change isn't what drives you, you should consider what it is that you lost by stepping out of your 9-to-5 routine, how that makes you feel, and what you want to do about it. The third step is to release yourself from the identity that your work life once governed. You can also release yourself from judging your successes and failures by what you did by adopting a new standard of success in life, governed by being. Obviously, this could take some time, and it might seem like too much to take on, but I promise you it's worth it. If you're like me, You value an outside voice, a coach who can help you discover both what you lost and what you gained in retirement. That's why I'm inviting you to be a part of the very first Ignite Your Retirement Retreat. It'll be held May 18th through the 20th in beautiful Branson, Missouri. Those who attend will leave with a clear blueprint for their retirement based on my 7-step retirement ignition method. You'll also leave having overcome the pain of isolation that so often comes with retirement. Community, sharing with new friends who are on a similar journey, can become the fuel that keeps your fire burning. I'm sure you'll be glad you came. In addition to the beautiful surroundings, the biblical teaching, and the great fellowship, you'll receive a free copy of my book, Finding Meaning and Purpose in Retirement. To register, go to retirementIgniter.com and click on the Retirement Retreat tab. I hope to see you there. Now, what would happen if you stopped believing the lie that once you retire, you've reached your sell-by date, that it's time to get out of the way? Instead, you can shift your gears from a schedule-driven life to a purposeful life that provides you with deep pleasure, God's pleasure. You were never intended to have your job, your house, your car, or your schedule define you. God designed you for a purpose, on purpose. And when you pause and uncover the temporary things that defined you, like a job or a schedule, you can begin to release those false perceptions of who you are, and that opens the door for a great conversation with God, asking Him what His big idea for your life is in this all-important fourth season. Next time, I'll talk about Pinpoint, the fourth step in my Ignite Retirement strategy. This is the tool that helps you stop guessing what's next and finally gives you the clarity to name the specific assignment God has for you right now. I want to leave you with this thought. In retirement, you need a compass more than a clock.